My ex posted lies about me online for Sympathy, so I dropped proof of everything and watched her followers vanish faster than her pride. I'm a 29-year-old guy, and I used to think love and trust were the same thing. When I met Lena, she made me believe I'd finally found both. She was radiant, the kind of woman who lit up every room, every camera frame, every conversation. She was a social media influencer with this magnetic confidence that made everyone around her feel like they were part of something special. I wasn't into that world, but she made it seem harmless, just sharing positivity, as she called it. We met at a friend's birthday dinner, and I remember how she laughed at my sarcasm when no one else did. That night turned into late-night texts, morning coffee runs, and inside jokes that felt too good to be real. I thought she saw me, not the brand, not the image, but the quiet, grounded guy behind it all. She'd say things like, "You balance me out," or "I need someone like you to keep me real." I didn't realize those words were less about connection and more about control. Our relationship looked perfect online. Cute couple pictures. #love goals. The kind of thing strangers commented on with you two are made for each other. I'd help her shoot content, edit photos, even plan captions. It felt like teamwork until it didn't. Over time, I noticed her jokes turning sharp. "Don't wear that. It doesn't fit the aesthetic. You really don't know how lighting works, do you?" They were small things, easy to brush off. But they chipped at me one post, one snide comment, one perfectly staged smile at a time. Still, I told myself it was love, that maybe I was being too sensitive. After all, every couple had flaws, right? But deep down, something told me this wasn't just a flaw. It was a warning, one I was too blinded to see. It started small, barely noticeable at first. Lena had a way of turning every disagreement into a public performance. If I forgot to comment on one of her posts, she'd sigh and say, "You can't even support me online. What will people think?" I'd laugh it off, but something about that phrase, "What will people think?" stuck with me. It became her favorite weapon and my constant leash. Our life began to revolve around her content calendar. Dates weren't really dates anymore. They were opportunities for photo ops. If we went hiking, she'd stage a candid moment of us holding hands. If we had dinner, she'd film it before we even took a bite. I remember once asking, "Can we just eat without posting?" And she froze mid-smile, phone still in hand. "You're so negative sometimes," she whispered, loud enough for her microphone to catch it. The clip went viral. Thousands of comments called her a saint for dealing with a grumpy boyfriend. That stung more than I'll ever admit. Watching people I'd never met judge me through her curated lens made me question myself. I began overcompensating, bringing her flowers, planning weekend getaways, smiling wider in photos I didn't want to take. I told myself that love meant compromise. But with her, compromise always felt one-sided. Late at night, she'd scroll through comments, basking in praise. "See, people get me," she'd say, leaning on my shoulder. I'd nod, pretending to agree, while feeling invisible beside her glow. My own friends started teasing me, calling me her content prop. I laughed with them, but the truth burned inside. The scariest part wasn't her control, it was how normal it started to feel. Like being filmed was just part of loving her. Like losing my privacy was a small price for being chosen. I didn't realize then that I was slowly disappearing from my own life. The more her following grew, the smaller I became in our world. Lena started treating our home like a set. Every room arranged for aesthetic consistency. The kitchen became her workspace, the living room her backdrop. And I, somewhere between cameraman and unpaid intern, was always expected to play along. "Just hold the phone steady," she'd say, with that sugary tone that turned sharp when I hesitated. "You always ruin the lighting." Behind the screen, though, she was different. The warmth that drew me in was gone, replaced by constant tension. If a post didn't perform well, she'd slam her laptop shut and mutter, "You made me look stiff." Once, I found her crying over losing a few hundred followers. I tried to comfort her, telling her numbers didn't define worth. She snapped, "That's easy for you to say. You're not the one people watch." The sentence hung in the air, heavy and cold. Our conversations turned transactional. "Did you reply to that brand's email? Did you wash the dishes? I need that shot of breakfast by 8. I started eating in silence, walking on eggshells, afraid that even a sigh could trigger an argument. My friends stopped inviting us out. Apparently, she'd recorded one of them venting about work and posted it under toxic people energy. Every time I tried to talk about Usrili, Takshi brushed it off. "Why do you always make things so dramatic? You sound jealous." The irony made me sick. I wasn't jealous of her. Attention I was suffocating under it. I used to think love was about building something real together. But with Lena, everything real had to be filtered, captioned, and sold. Our relationship wasn't love anymore, it was content. And I was just the supporting character in a story I didn't write. The cracks were widening, and I could feel something breaking beneath the surface. I just didn't know how deep it went yet. The breaking point came on a quiet Sunday morning. I remember making coffee while Lena filmed a self-care vlog. She wanted to stage a shot of us laughing over breakfast. But when she caught me scrolling through my phone, she snapped, "Can you at least pretend to be happy for once?" Her tone was venom, disguised as charm, the camera still rolling. I froze, not wanting to cause a scene, but something inside me cracked. After she stopped recording, I said softly, "Lena, we can't live like this. Everything's fake, even us." She turned to me slowly, eyes cold, lips curled into a smirk. "Fake? You think I'm fake because I work harder than you? Because people actually care what I post?" "That's not what I said," I replied, keeping my voice low. "I just want us not the followers, not the image." She laughed, short and cruel. "You wouldn't even have half your confidence without me. People only notice you because of me." That line hit like a slap. I wanted to yell, but instead, I just stared at her. The woman I once adored now looked like a stranger performing sincerity. She walked toward her tripod, muttering, "You always ruin my energy." I whispered, "Maybe it's because I'm tired of pretending." The silence that followed was suffocating. She turned off the ring light and stormed out, slamming the door so hard the camera shook. Hours later, she posted a photo of herself at a cafe, captioned, "Sometimes distance is the only way to heal." Comments flooded in sympathy. Support, people calling her brave. I sat on the couch, scrolling through them, realizing she'd already begun rewriting our story for the internet. That was the first time. I wondered if loving her meant erasing myself completely, and for the first time, I wasn't sure I wanted to. A week after that fight, I finally gathered the courage to end it. We sat across from each other in the living room, the same one that had doubled as her studio for months. I told her I couldn't do it anymore, that I needed peace, not performance. At first, she just stared at me, expression unreadable. Then, as if on cue, tears welled up. "After everything I did for you," she whispered, "you're leaving me when I'm already falling apart." I wanted to comfort her old habits die hard, but something in her eyes stopped me. They weren't sad. They were calculating. "Lena," I said, voice trembling, "please don't make this harder than it has to be." She didn't reply. She just walked into her office, shut the door, and I assumed she needed space. I was wrong. The next evening, my phone started buzzing nonstop. Texts from friends, coworkers, even my sister. "What's going on between you two?" I opened Instagram, and my stomach dropped. There she was, sitting on her bed in tears, mascara smudged, voice trembling as she told thousands of strangers that I had emotionally abandoned her. She said I was manipulative, that I undermined her career, that I used her for clout. Every word was a lie. The comment section was a mob. "You deserve better, Queen. He sounds like a narcissist. I hope you're healing." Asterisk, in less than 24 hours, I went from being her boyfriend to being her villain. She posted cryptic quotes, blurry crying selfies, even old pictures of us captioned, "When I thought I mattered." The likes poured in. I sat there in silence, watching my name turn into a hashtag of hate. Part of me wanted to scream, to post my side, to beg people to see reason. But the louder part, the broken, exhausted part, just whispered one thing. She's not done yet, and deep down, I knew it was only the beginning of her performance. Within days, her story exploded. Lena's video hit 1 million views in under a week. Influencer friends reposted it, podcasts dissected it, and my inbox filled with hate. My LinkedIn, my work email 11, my mom's Facebook were flooded with strangers calling me trash. Abuser? Gaslighter? I tried ignoring it, but the noise was constant. It felt like drowning in public. Then the real blow landed. My manager called me into his office one morning, awkward and apologetic. "We've had complaints," he said carefully. "Your name's trending, and HR thinks it's best you take a leave until this blows over." "Complaints? From who?" I asked, though I already knew. He sighed. "She posted screenshots, messages that look bad." My heart dropped. I knew exactly which ones private arguments taken out of context. Me apologizing for things I didn't even do, edited to make her the victim. When I checked her stories, I saw the messages cropped, timestamps removed. Captions like this is how manipulators twist love. Thousands of comments, cheering her on. That night, my best friend David called. His voice was hesitant. "Man, I need to tell you something." "What?" I asked. "She messaged me weeks ago. Tried to get me to post about you two. Said if I didn't, I was enabling abuse." The line went quiet. My stomach twisted. "She's not trying to heal," he continued. "She's trying to destroy you." It was the first time I truly saw it. This wasn't heartbreak. It was a campaign. Every tear, every caption, every shaky video was strategy. She wasn't just telling her story. She was rewriting mine. I wanted to fight back, to scream my innocence. But something told me to wait. The truth, I realized, didn't need to be loud. It just needed timing. And when that timing came, I'd make sure it hit where it hurt most. The following month was the darkest of my life. I'd wake up every morning to new hate messages, sometimes from people I used to know. My mom stopped checking her Facebook because strangers sent her vile DMs about raising a monster. My sister begged me to stay offline, but that didn't stop the whispers at work or the sideways looks from neighbors. I felt like a ghost walking through the ruins of my own name. Bills started piling up after I lost my job. I sold my car just to cover rent. Every attempt to move on was crushed by another wave of rumors. Lena, meanwhile, was thriving, posting healing journey vlogs, new brand deals, smiling like she hadn't just detonated my life for sympathy. I remember one night vividly. I was sitting alone in the dark, scrolling through my old photos. There was one of us at a lake, her laughing, me looking at her like she was the world. The caption she'd written back then read, "Find someone who makes you feel seen." I almost laughed at the irony before my chest tightened. My eyes burned, not from anger this time, but exhaustion. I hadn't realized how hollow I'd become trying to defend myself from something I didn't even do a few days later. I went to a mutual friend's wedding, the first time I'd seen people from our old circle. As soon as I walked in, conversations went quiet. No one said anything cruel, but the silence said enough. One girl whispered to another, "That's him." I didn't even finish my drink. I just left. When I got home, I turned off my phone, deleted my socials, and sat on the floor of my empty apartment. For the first time, I accepted it. Lena had taken everything: my peace, my friends, my reputation, and maybe that's why, when I finally found what she'd hidden from me, I didn't feel anger. I felt purpose, because she wasn't the only one who knew how to tell a story. I hadn't planned to find it. One night, while cleaning out my old laptop to sell it, I opened a forgotten folder named Archive. Inside were hundreds of old files, screenshots, recordings, message logs, all auto-synced from my phone back when Lena and I were still together. At first, I almost deleted them. I didn't want to relive any of it, but something made me pause. I clicked on one, then another, and within minutes, my hands were shaking. There it was. The truth, unedited, unfiltered. Conversations where she admitted to picking fights for content. Voice notes where she laughed about making drama trend. Screenshots of her messaging brand reps flirtatiously telling them, "Don't tell him. He's too sensitive." Even private DMIs between her and a friend mocking my family, calling me useful for engagement. Each file was a brick in the wall of lies she'd built around me, and now I was holding the blueprint. I spent the entire night going through it, heart pounding, alternating between disbelief and fury. By sunrise, I wasn't sad anymore. I was clear. This wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. For the first time in months, I felt grounded, anchored in something real. Still, I knew I couldn't just post it all recklessly. One wrong move, and she'd spin it as harassment. I needed precision, cold, deliberate, undeniable proof. So I backed everything up, dated every file, labeled every clip. That morning, As I zipped the folder and titled it Receipts, I looked at her Instagram page. She'd just posted a reel, soft music, her smiling with the caption, "Sometimes you have to lose everything to find yourself." She had no idea how right she was, because what she was about to lose next wasn't her followers, it was her credibility. I didn't sleep that night. My mind raced with every possible outcome. What if no one believed me? What if she twisted this too? But beneath the anxiety, there was a stillness I hadn't felt in months. This wasn't impulsive rage. It was purpose. I wasn't trying to hurt her. I was trying to reclaim myself the next morning. I called my old friend David, the same one she'd tried to manipulate into turning against me. He met me at a quiet cafe, away from the noise of her world. I opened my laptop and showed him everything. For 2 straight hours, he sat in stunned silence, scrolling through screenshots and listening to her voice notes. When he finally looked up, his face was pale. "Dude," he said quietly, "this isn't just proof, this is her whole playbook." Together, we planned carefully. I wouldn't post anything emotional. No rant, no name-calling, just facts, dates, and screenshots. Each one would line up perfectly with her lies. David helped me draft a short statement. Truth doesn't need an audience, just evidence. We decided to post it all at once. No teasers, no build-up, just a clean thread of reality. That night, I looked at her page one last time. She'd uploaded a new post, her staring out a window with the caption, "Learning to forgive those who broke me." The comments were endless praise, hearts, prayers, and sympathy. I felt nothing anymore, just anticipation. Before I hit publish, I paused. For months, I'd been the villain in her story, the invisible man she painted as a monster. But now I was holding the mirror she'd refused to face. As my finger hovered over the screen, I took a deep breath and whispered to myself, "This isn't revenge, it's exposure." Then I pressed post, and within minutes, the world started watching the truth unfold. The moment I hit post, I felt the kind of silence that hums before a storm. For the first 10 minutes, nothing happened then. The notifications began. First a trickle, then a flood. Comments, retweets, duets, people couldn't stop sharing it. I hadn't written a single insult, not one emotional word, just cold, time-stamped facts. Screenshots of her messages where she admitted to lying for engagement. Voice clips of her laughing about how the internet loves a crying girl. Dates, context, receipts, all of it unedited. By the end of the first hour, her followers started questioning her. Wait, didn't she say this happened in March? Why does her story keep changing? Threads popped up, dissecting every inconsistency. Someone even compared her breakdown video to the audio file I'd posted, same background music, same lighting, proving it was filmed weeks before she claimed it happened. Then came the real hit. A brand she'd recently partnered with issued a statement saying they were reviewing their collaboration. Another unfollowed her publicly. The sympathy that once fed her empire was evaporating fast. I didn't reply to a single comment. I didn't celebrate. I just watched as truth, quiet, steady, and undeniable, did what it always does. It dismantled lies, one piece at a time. By that evening, her apology video went up. A shaky, tear-filled clip titled, "I made mistakes," but people weren't buying it anymore. The top comment said everything. You didn't make mistakes, you made choices. My phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Old friends texted apologies. Even my boss reached out. "If you're ready, we'd like to have you back." I should have felt victorious. But as her follower count plummeted, all I felt was quiet relief. The kind that doesn't come from whining, just from finally being done. Still, part of me knew. Her fall wasn't over yet. The internet had just begun to turn. The next few days were chaos, pure, unfiltered internet carnage. My post had gone viral across multiple platforms. Comment sections that once adored her were now flooded with disbelief, anger, and betrayal. You lied for views. You built a career on sympathy. Every hour, another brand announced they were suspending partnerships pending review. Her follower count, once nearly 1 million, dropped by the tens of thousands each day. At first, Lena tried to control the narrative. She posted a clarity video, no makeup, trembling voice, soft piano music in the background. "I'm human," she whispered, eyes glistening. "I made mistakes, but I didn't deserve this hate. It worked for maybe an hour. Then people compared her raw video to an older clip, same lighting, same angle, same background. They realized she'd staged her apology days before I even released my proof. The internet turned completely. I didn't comment. I didn't gloat. I just watched the same machine she'd weaponized start devouring her. PR statements failed, apologies backfired, and soon she went silent altogether. Friends who'd ghosted me began reaching out again. "Man, I'm sorry," one text read. "She fooled us all." Even my mom called one night, voice steady for the first time in months. "I told you the truth always wins, sweetheart." But I didn't feel like I'd won. Watching someone unravel publicly wasn't satisfying, it was sad. This was a woman who once cried in my arms over losing followers, now losing everything she'd ever built. I didn't pity her, but I couldn't celebrate either. Instead, I logged off, deleted my last post, closed the apps. For the first time in a long while, silence felt like peace, not absence. But peace doesn't erase scars. It just means you stop reopening the wound, and mine was finally starting to close. Months passed before I even thought about social media again. My life felt stripped down, simpler, quieter. I moved to a smaller city, took a new job, and started living like a person no one was watching. No filters, no forced smiles, no pretending. Just real mornings and real silence. For the first time in years, I could hear my own thoughts without the echo of an audience. Every so often, I'd still hear Lena's name. A podcast episode mentioning the influencer who faked her breakup. A Reddit thread dissecting her downfall. But her online presence was fading, the algorithm moving on like it always does. People who'd once worshipped her forgot she existed. And somehow, that felt like justice, not loud or explosive, but natural. Like truth doing what truth does when you let time do the talking. One afternoon, I found myself back at that same lake where we'd once taken pictures for her feed. No camera this time, just me, the sound of wind and sunlight reflecting off the water. I remember whispering, "You don't get to live in my head anymore." And for the first time, I believed it. I started journaling again privately for myself, writing about everything I'd learned, how silence can speak louder than shouting, how peace costs more than pride, and how trust without boundaries isn't love, it's surrender. Lena taught me something she never intended to, that truth doesn't need to go viral to matter. It just needs to be known by the person living it. I don't hate her anymore. Hate takes energy I'd rather spend on rebuilding. These days, I laugh more easily, sleep longer, and wake up without the pit in my stomach that used to feel like her shadow. The story that once destroyed me is just a story now, and for the first time in a long time, I'm free to write new ones.